So if you observe the first testing XML, so it contains two test cases, front end and two tests actually. Inside that we'll be including the classes, and each class will contain its own test cases inside it. So let's say backend testing contains this class test case 1, front end testing contains test case 2 and 3. So now let's say uh, in the test case 1 B star I kept here. So we'll be having some other methods called as this test annotation will refer as the test case. So let's say I have some other methods. Let's say some public void some name, println some method some name. So instead of test case I will keep it as before test. With this annotation, so when I run this testng.xml, run as testng suite, you see from method got executed before this test case. So now let's say I execute, I don't include this test case 1. I will just remove this. So now run this. It's not there now because that is included in only that class, and the main logic is when it is in whichever class that before test is included in that test class, so in the set of classes I meant to say. So now let's say let me include test case 3 here, and remove this test. So this before test was included. Similarly, I add one more test in test case 3 here. What is the error? Okay. So I added one more before test, one in test case 2.java, test case 1.java, another one is test case 3.java. Both are in this backend testing. So when I run that, In both cases, even though it's defined in test case 3 and it is defined as second class, but still combinedly in both, whatever the before test methods are there, those are ran first from my some other names, next from before test 3. So it's not relevant on which class, what are the classes included in this test. In those tests, whichever is defined as before test, that will be executed first before all the test cases depend in this one, before all these methods depend in this one. So now let's say and that is only to this particular test case. So now the test case 3 is defined in both areas, right? So now let me execute that. You see, first this set of backend testing is executed. In that one, that before test is executed, and after all the test cases uh, uh, before these two test cases are these two before methods are tested, and after completion of all this test suite, this front end testing is started now. And again in that one I have set this, I have included this test case 3.java, right? So that's why that is also included in this set of tests also now. So before this set of test cases, this again this before testing got executed. So now let's say, so generally for connecting to clearing any databases or clearing any connections and all these things we can do in front of this test. Let's say clearing and to start a fresh session and all. Let's say our session and everything is completed, then we need to clear the cookies related to that particular test case. Then what we can do, we can, like how we created um, before test, similarly we can write after test also. This after test is depending only on test case 1, so that's why uh, it will execute only for this test case 1, for this complete test. So for the second set of front end testing, that after test won't get executed. You see, in test case 1, uh, the before test got executed from test case 1.java, before test 3 from test case 3.java. After all the test cases, after test from test case 1.java got executed at the end of test cases, and then the second set of tests started for front end testing. Here only that test case 3.java is executed, right? So that's why only before test 3 got executed. This after test from method is not executed here because it is only dependent test case 1, and that class is not dependent in this test. So now let's say I like before test and after test for this complete set, there is another one called before suit. So it will be running. See, this before test is just before the test set, and this before suit is for this complete test suite, my test suite. So now let me run this. You see, before suit. So once this before suit is executed, just before all the test cases, and at the end of first test, this after tests are completed, and then so the sequence is first before suit. When we are running this test suit, the before suit will get executed, before suit methods. After that, in the individual tests, because there are having two tests here for backend testing and front end testing, when we enter this backend testing, the individual before test related to this test will get executed. After that, the test cases will get executed. Once this test is complete, at the end of it, the after test methods related to this test will get executed. So after test summary, once this is completed, then second test starts. In second front end testing, in this front end testing, the before test methods will get executed, and at the end the after test methods, if any is there depending this, those will get executed. But once all the test cases, all the tests defined in this suit are completed, at the end of this suit, this after suit will get executed. Understood? So at the suit level, this is before test and after test is at the individual test level. So now like before test and before suit, there is another called before method. So this one will get executed for each and every test case, I mean test method defined here. So now in this one, from method, before method. So for before each and every test case here, print statements, this will get executed. That too only in this test class, in test case 1 only. Before method, before method. But once you come to this test case 3.1, here it is not defined, because that is created only at this class level. In the class level, for all the test cases, this before method can be used, like for defining any class variables, like that we can use that. I mean changing any class variable values and all. At class level this is. Similarly, there will be after method also. You see, so you can do at this package level also, run as test ng suite before method, after method, before method, after method for all the first test case. The second test case it is not there, the same one here we are including the complete package, right? So it's acted as a single test case, application 1 testing. So in this complete suite, at the end it got executed, this after test, after suite. So all these are included in single test, right? So that's why it got executed after test at the end of them. But this after method is selected at individual level, so that's why it got executed only here. So if you come here at class level, we have this before method and after method, right? This before method and after method will get executed before each and every test method we define here. Let's say we want to define at class level one more method, but it should execute only at the start of all the tests defined in this class, and also some other annotation so that it will execute at the end of all the tests only once instead of each and every method. That can be done using uh, before class, before class. Similarly, we have after class. So if I run this test.ng, run as test.ng suite, you see in this test case 1.java, before executing all these test cases, we have this test before class got executed. After that, individual before methods, before each and every method, and after method after that particular test case. At the end of this class section, when all the test cases dependent test case methods depend in this one are completed, then we are executing this after class. So this is one of the link I got from articles. Here you will understand more clearly about before and after methods, uh, which we explained just now in pictorial way. And then they have provided some source code zip also. Just found it in the internet. And this is the test.ng home page. You can go to the detailed documentation, and from there also you can check before and after. See, so this before and after groups is there. I will explain on the next video. So other than that, I have cleared all these things. You can just go through the documentation again.